In the spring of 2025, at the vegetable market on the east side of the river, I stumbled upon this thing. On its fuel tank, the word Kawasaki was written. But what really caught my eye was its engine. Thick, massive, and wild. The tail was lifted high like a race beast. The tires looked like track versions, yet the front fork had been brutally snapped off. I boldly propped it up, gave it a quick wipe down, and somehow got it to drip back to life. After soaking it for a bit, I bought the whole thing, 279 kilos, at just 7 UN a kilo. Its throttle body was huge, tires meant for racing. I thought, no way I'm losing on this deal. Fix it up, sell it to one of my classmates after graduation. That's easily $10,000 profit. The bike had clearly been sitting for ages, cracks all over the tires, the rear fender shattered to pieces. But the engine? Still clean, no oil leaks. 4 exhaust pipes, all clean cuts. Probably had a catalytic converter once. Even the brake calipers were sliced straight through. Right now, the side frame's worse than the old 750 I dragged home. Anyway, put your gloves on. The big wave's coming, and it's time to get to work. They'd smashed that beautiful shock absorber to bits, and look, the handlebars are bent into an X, but none of that matters. If the engine still turns, this bike is worth it for both of us. So our job now is simple. Get that engine running. I stripped off the mangled bodywork and exposed the frame. It actually looks straight and solid. The ignition cover's missing the key, but that's fine. I can cut it open and get it to turn. If that fails, we'll just remove the part beneath the keyhole and wire it up directly. Don't even joke. If you ever lose your bike key again, call me and I'll come rescue you. For now, let's hook up the battery, power everything up, and see if we can get it running. Not even kidding. I've worked on dozens of bikes, and this is the only one that, when we hooked up the power, barely gave a little cough. Now we can work on its fuel system. This here is the gas tank. No idea which idiot put that huge hole in it. It's beyond repair. I pulled off a bubbled part that still looked like it might be usable. Outside it's filthy, but it's plastic inside, so there's no widespread corrosion. I've got a few other motorcycles. We'll pick a spare tank from the 2 on the ground and try it out. I used a quick makeshift small pan bean count method to choose and settled on this battered Suzuki tank. The connector didn't match, so I ran a direct wire to it and bypassed the plug. Now it's starting to come to life. There's fuel, there's power. Let's try to fire it up. Good luck. But that doesn't make sense. With fuel and power, it should be starting right up. But could it really have lost all cylinder compression? If the engine's got no compression, then we've bought ourselves a pile of scrap. So I pulled the pistons and hooked up a compression gauge, tested twice, and it's showing a little over 7 bars each time. So yeah, compression's fine. That's not the problem. Next, I checked the wiring, pulled out the spark plug, and sure enough, there's no spark at all. Looks like the issue's hiding somewhere in the electrical system. I checked the throttle, the brake and clutch sensor wires, the fuses. I even suspected the ECU was shot. When I went to turn the ignition off to pull the computer, I noticed a red light stuck on the dash. I ripped the cluster off and found a little key symbol hiding underneath. Then it all clicked. This bike probably has an immobilizer chip. It needs a chipped key to disarm. An ordinary key won't work. Looks like we'll have to dig into the tuner's playbook for this one. I used roughly 2.5 sheets of thin colored metal to fab up a little gadget. Since I didn't have the original key, I pulled the ECU out, and it took dragging in a bunch of people before we figured out how to deal with that tiny immobilizer chip. Now the bike is finally detecting the chip. If it fires on the first try, this will be the easiest starting heap I've ever worked on. Wish me luck. The oil filter was leaking, and in just a moment you can see oil spurting out everywhere. But that's fine, I thought. I'll just swap in a new filter and it'll be good as new. Man, I was so naive. Right then, I really believed it was just a bad oil filter. Replace it and problem solved. Or so I thought. With just that little knock earlier, the engine spewed out nearly a whole liter of oil. I've topped it up now, enough to get things running and make sure the engine itself is sound. Once we're sure it's fine, we'll do a proper oil change. Now, it's time to try starting it again. Wish me luck. How did they even manage to smash up the engine case too? This bike's really been through hell. The oil I just added, I'm guessing it's already leaked out again. I pulled off the engine side cover and the parts inside still looked brand new. But underneath, a huge crack staring right back at me. I'd only tried starting it twice, not even 6 seconds total, and it spewed every drop of oil all over the floor. At that moment, I started to realize maybe I'd talked this bike up a little too much. I patched the cracked engine side cover using AC argon arc welding, then smoothed it out with an angle grinder. After that, I reassembled everything exactly the way it came apart, step by step. Hopefully this time it won't mess with us again. And yeah, I've poured in a second bucket of oil. At this point, I've got no idea what shape this engine's really in anymore. All I know is, I've already burned through 2 full buckets of clean oil. Hello, GLE. There's a problem. I just finished patching it up, and now somehow it's guzzling gasoline from who knows where. When I first bought this bike, I already had a feeling something was off. I was planning to give it a good rev and make it roar, but after tinkering with it for so long, I completely forgot about that. Now it's acting like a stubborn mule, won't move when you want it to, but somehow still manages to spit fuel everywhere. Check out the problem. Now this engine doesn't leak oil or water anymore. Now we can start working on the other parts. The first thing back is this domestic headlight. This is a guest exhaust pipe and also a catalytic converter. Buying all these guest shock absorbers really hurt. They were super expensive. This is also a guest fuel tank. The seller said it's original paint, but this orange color doesn't fit my bike, so now it's almost ready. As for the parts, they're good to use now. Next, we'll use dry ice to give the underside a thorough cleaning. Around here, it's sold for 6 UN per kilo, and I bought 30 kilos. This is the frame after being treated with dry ice. the result is really awesome. 3 gin of chili pepper, that's all. Up to now, it looks like buying this bike was really worth it. I also planned to strip off its original paint with a polishing machine, but then I suddenly realized that the seller was completely talking nonsense. Just this fuel tank alone seems to have about 7 or 8 layers of paint on it, and every layer was a different color. After I ground it down to this state, you can see it used to have real depth. But this fuel tank also came from a bike with a story, and the previous repair job was very sloppy. Now I can only cut open the bottom of the tank and try to fix it bit by bit. After a round of hard work, I finally rescued this fuel tank. The remaining small dents, just pretend you didn't see them. Then I used a handheld laser welder to weld a few more spots back on. Next comes the usual process. First, spray epoxy primer on the tank to prevent rust. Then apply a thin layer of putty to level it. Then spray a layer of intermediate paint to unify the color tone. Finally, spray your favorite green color on it and put on a 1-to-1 reproduction fuel tank decal with gold edges. After that, spray the final coat of clear varnish, then send it to the paint booth for baking. In the end, you get this bright and crystal clear fuel tank. So now, the bike's parts are basically ready. We can start assembling the bike. Last time, the front axle needed a special tool to work on it. I didn't have one, but I was crafty enough. I welded 2 screws together, and it worked perfectly as a replacement. I'm really smart. The rear wheel still has a sport tire on it. Back then, buying this tire probably cost more than 1,000 yuan. Of course, now it's completely done for. I need to replace it. I've installed its mirrors, and now this bike is considered fully restored. Its weight is definitely more than the 279 jin it was when I first bought it. But even if you offered 7 yuan per kilo again, I still wouldn't sell it to you. Because now, this bike can start perfectly. Now this big guy is completely refurbished, and we can go for a test ride. But with my scruffy beard like this, I no longer match this clean bike. I need to refurbish myself too, and let you see my restoration partner. A man looks even better after shaving. This is the Jelly hybrid shaver I've been using recently. A century-old Jelly sports model. I have several of them, but this is the first one that actually powers on. It uses Braun co-developed micro-vibration technology, shaving and vibrating at the same time, keeping the 5 blades close to the roots for a faster, cleaner shave. Let's go take it for a ride. This time, the legend that cost 7 yuan per kilo and weighed over 279 jin is finally fully restored. Thank you for your help. Wish you good health and prosperity.